Once upon a time, Kimberly was just going through the motions. Every once in a while, she'd find some happiness, but it quickly faded. She chased every possible way to make money because she thought money was the key to getting the happiness she longed for. Then, one day, she decided she was worthy enough to try a different path. It led her through the dark cave of fear, past the forest of doubts, and to the village of vulnerability. With each step, she trusted herself more. She asked for what she really wanted, and she started to get it. More happiness, more love, and yes, more money. Welcome to the next chapter of Kimberly's Manifesting Success Story. Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Kimberly in her Years of Growth series, her Manifesting Success Story. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi. For those of you listening, this is January 10th, 2022. So I want to celebrate this before we get into celebrating your manifesting total. You are officially an abundance facilitator with your own clients.
Yes.
Yay. How does that feel?
Amazing. I just, when people, I've had several people ask me how it feels lately, and I was like, it feels a little surreal. It just happened. It wasn't this huge production. It was a natural transition from the training right into opening, and now I'm coaching.
Yay.
Yeah.
You had taken coach trainings before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so had you ever just sort of finished training and had clients?
No, and that's probably because I actually never finished programs.
I get it. What do you think it was then that kept you from finishing?
Because it didn't fit. Like when I say it didn't fit, meaning like there were pieces and parts of it that just weren't in alignment about how I felt about life and where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. It was, I guess, for lack of a better description, kind of cookie cutter. And I, we talk all the time about me being a rebel, and I never fit into the cookie cutter ideas.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I want to ask you a follow-up question to that, because I think, that cookie cutter thing is a thing. And I've seen coaching programs, we're not creating cookie cutter coaches. Meanwhile, you're coaching the exact same program. So tell me how how it's different than cookie cutter, because on the outside, maybe it looks like, oh, it is cookie cutter.
Oh, that's a really good question. I think because I've done the program and I know it works. That's the difference. The other programs, while I was learning them, I'm like, this doesn't really it doesn't work, or at least I never saw it work for me. So there's a difference between teaching or guiding or sharing a program that I know works. That's the biggest difference for me.
Yeah.
I believe in it and I trust in it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Which is why you have to have gone through the program. It's why I don't put out applications. Anyone can apply and anyone can pay and anyone can enroll, because I believe that you have to, you want it to have worked for you to be a really good coach. And it takes out so much, or gives you so much manifesting power, right? When you're just put your, I know it works 100%.
Yeah. And just to kind of go back a little bit, that, even those other coaching programs, the reason it wasn't working for me is because I hadn't done all the work.
Like all the work that they said to do, or you could do it without doing the work?
I felt like it was kind of that expression, fake it till you make it. So I felt like I was showing up bullshitting people from the get-go
Mhm.
because I wasn't doing certain things that they talk about in the programs.
Got it.
So kind of like a fraud, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I was a fraud, but it didn't feel genuine and authentic,
Mhm.
and now
Yeah.
it does.
Yay. That's awesome. I love it. All right. So what manifested total are we celebrating today?
Well, I had filled out my form yesterday, and then I was like, "Oh wait, I forgot $40." So I was excited. It's
Yay.
$40 more. It's $313,966.95.
Yay. That's amazing. How does that feel to be the person who's manifested over $300,000?
Now it just feels normal.
Yay.
um, yeah. When I saw that number, I'm like, well, of course I've manifested that. Like that's just who I am now.
Yeah.
I think a year ago, if I had manifested that, I still would have probably been pinching myself, like, how did I do that? And I wanted all the things. But now it's like, of course, I've manifested that. I show up, I do the work, I'm coachable. And yeah, so money just loves to flow into my life and it's easy.
Yes, I love it. So, this is sort of, it's always interesting. So, you ended year two basically of the work and started year three, um, which is just time in our world because everybody goes at their own pace and everybody's on a different assignment. It's not like, oh, you're on year three, like you move to this, you just keep going. But how would you describe year two?
Year two was, it went deeper.
Mhm.
Like it's a part of beingness versus doing.
Yeah.
I'm being the person who manifests money. I'm being the person who is a coach. I'm being the woman who shows up powerful and confident, asking for what she wants and getting it.
Yeah.
I think the very first year, there was still some chasing in there.
Yes.
I was chasing after all of those things, and it's really interesting because I sometimes I don't recognize that I made that shift of doing all the things to just being.
Hmm.
It's just natural now.
That's awesome.
It was really good.
Yay. Because that's a huge shift. And it's really where manifesting picks up even more momentum.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I'm excited.
I'm coming up on my third. Oh, I don't know what it's called now, but I'll be doing Manifest 10K or your newest version of it here shortly. I'm getting ready to start my third script within the next 2 days, so
Yay.
that's
Awesome.
exciting. Yeah,
That is exciting. I love it. I'm super excited. Um, and that is called Manifest Magic Money. So that's going to be amazing. I love it. Awesome. So tell us what your biggest aha or understanding of how the law of attraction and manifesting work that's happened over the last 3 months.
um, so, and I'm just going to read what I wrote, if that's all
Yeah.
right. The story that you tell today is the life you live tomorrow. From where I began with my money story, being a money chaser, and now being a confident money maker, recognizing that telling a new money story opened up being more aware of all the stories that I tell. It would seem obvious to start telling new stories in all areas of my life, yet I still catch when I tell a story that I may not want. And I get excited when I realize that all I have to do is say no, let me tell a new story. And it's that simple.
Yes. Have you done that um, to someone or with someone yet? Or
Oh,
do you?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can give an example.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about thinking of moving to California this summer. And I went, oh, I said, I have no, and told this story of I have no desire to live in New York or California. Too many people. And then, like, maybe 30 minutes went by, and I was like, wait a minute. I just put my story on her. I should have been celebrating that has this adventure. So I came back and she looked at me really oddly. And I was like, you know what? If you were to go to California, I think that's amazing. I hope you have a great time going.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just something that simple. Like it wasn't like this huge, big story, but I recognized that I told a story of New York and California has too many people. I don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I want to visit California and New York so I can take out all the other stuff that I don't want and just
Yes,
tell what I do want.
absolutely. I love that. And I'm sure that um, really supported whoever was telling that story.
Yeah, because before she left, she said, "You know what?" She goes, "I think I am going to go to California." I said, "Awesome." I said, "I have an amazing experience. Can't wait to hear about it."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. I love it. Um, um, so good. I'm really glad you changed that story. That'll come out at some point, but we'll talk about that. So what
Well,
is
I
the
can't wait to hear.
I know that was a little um it was vague podcasting, vague interviewing, but that will come up in a future interview. So I love it. And I want to talk about this. I was going to move on to evidence, but I want to talk about this, and it might come up in your next interview. The one that follows this, we're going to talk about writing a book, leveraging the law of attraction. And so for you, you just said now you're a confident moneymaker. And when I hear that, I see the evolution of your story, right? Because it was really like this from like, ooh, it's magical. I'm magic. I can make it happen to this. No, I just can't like what it is, what we kind of talk about in telling our stories. I'm a confident money maker. Will you talk about that evolution and, where that title, if it came from somewhere or you just were like, this is who I am?
So, yeah, I remember we kind of had this conversation about magical. And looking back on it now, it's like I was hiding behind that word magical.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like I don't think I was aware of it in that moment.
Right.
But if I said magical and I said it enough, then it would be true that I could magically manifest money and I could magically do all these things. And then the confident money maker, I think we were book editing actually, and it just came out. It was totally inspired. So I didn't have to think about it. It came out and I was like, oh, and I just let it sink in, and I just did it again. I could feel it from the top of my head to the tip of my toes that I'm a confident money maker. I just am.
Yes.
And
Yay.
of course, I'm still magical.
Of course you are. We're all magical, right? And because we're able to do this, and yet I think this is difference between year one and year two. In year one, we're really, oh, I have some magic. I have this power, and it feels like magic, and it is magic, right? Like, um, and then we start to own it as we go through. So year two, you really, even really just is the end of the year started to own no, like this is all me. I am a moneymaker and I am confident at that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. What is the coolest piece of evidence that you've gathered since our last interview?
Well, so this one I made really short and simple, but I have something else to share. But Cassie attracts 5-year clients with ease.
Mhm.
And so we've been learning, how to share it's happening in evidence. So I don't have to share all the details. But for our interview, I'll just say that I have Cassie attracts what she wants, and so every time I get on a call, Cassie's my evidence. She just being who she is, she's my evidence. She's doing what I'm doing, and she's like the 5-year version of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so fun to have, right?
Yeah.
I love it. Amazing.
And then I also have another piece of evidence that
Yeah.
I thought was really interesting. So, and it just hit me yesterday. So my money story before, like chasing money,
Hmm.
every Christmas we either used credit cards or I was scraping to, buy Christmas or stressed and worried about it. And this year I paid cash for Christmas. I bought my family gifts that they wanted and asked for. And I got to choose which ones I wanted to give them because some of them gave me like really big long lists. And I was like the week before Christmas, I'm like, hey, I'm not done yet. What do you want or need? And so it was just a really fun new experience. And then after the new year, I was like, so I celebrated with Joshua and I said, hey, we paid cash for Christmas this year. And then I got an email about my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, huh. And then it dawned on me, this is the first year that I'm not rushing to get my taxes done. Because we always got a refund and we always get a
Mm-hmm.
refund. And this year I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, it's January. Like it was no big deal. But January's in the past, I'd be like, oh, it's January. I can get my taxes. We're going to get this huge refund. And this year I'm like, of course I'm getting a refund.
Of course, money's coming in, right?
Yeah. So it's just this whole like, I got that email as evidence of I'm not, or I am being the person who just is confident and has money.
Yes,
Yeah. So that was new. So I think that ties into the evidence.
absolutely. That's amazing. Such big evidence of who you've become and continue to become. Love it. Tell us about inspiration over the past couple of months.
Oh, I love inspiration. I have I've never had a problem with inspiration and ideas. Obviously, as a money chaser, ideas will come to me every single day. And now I just enjoy the fact that I receive inspiration and I get to choose what I go do. Like I
Mhm.
can't not do it. But lately, I was inspired to create the creative corner in Kajabi, where I shared the coloring pages, which was so fun. And I was inspired to start learning a new program called Affinity Designer, and it was fun and easy. So when it's inspired for me, everything is easy, and of course,
Mhm.
it's fun, and I'm happy. So that's where I
Yes.
really know it's inspired. It's fun and
Yes.
easy. Let's see. Oh, and I also said that I have grown so much in this area because I love all of the inspiration. And now I don't have to write them all down. Like I used to think if I didn't write them down, I was going to forget and I would miss out on something. Now I know if it's inspiration, that idea is going to come back to me and I'm going to go do it or I'm not going to do it. It's just, there's a peace around all of it,
Mhm.
which feels really good. Um, I think that's all.
I love it.
It just feels really good to enjoy inspiration now.
Yes. Yay. How have you seen your future self show up over the past few months?
Um, I'm going to read this and then I wanted to talk to you about it. So I thought the interview would be perfect. But her beliefs,
Mhm.
I think that, I mean, I'm 46 years old and learning what my beliefs are and what my future self beliefs are, that's new because it's, you grow up and it's either your parents or your friends or whoever. You have all these different ideas and opinions and really finding out what my beliefs are and my future self felt really empowering. Um, So I felt very strongly about something. Well, two things actually. And when I set them down, she came through with the voice I wanted to use, and I didn't know how. I'm not sure I'm explaining this properly, yet it felt very powerful to know what it was that was my truth. Um, and so, do you want me to share what those two
Yeah.
experiences are? Okay. So, the first one was when I was a part of the Law of Attraction podcast with Neo,
Mhm.
and he was talking about kids who grew up in a certain area of town. And it really bothered me that he made that comment because I felt like um, I wanted to tell a different story. And I didn't know what that was. And it bothered me for days. And I remember at one point where I was like, maybe I should get up and write this down, like what it is that I believe. And so she came through with, I want to tell a different story for children who maybe have different circumstances than I do or different circumstances in general. I don't want to label them or put them in a box. I want to see them empowered and powerful and hold space for them to create a life that they want.
Mhm.
And so that felt really powerful to me. And it was so amazing to hear her come through as to what it was that felt. I mean, I just was really, I want to say I was fired up about it.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, but that's kind of hopefully I explained that
Yeah.
well enough.
I think and that's the important thing, right? Is not I actually love the way you told the story because it's about getting clear on what we believe. and
Yeah.
what we want to share in the world and who we want to be, right? The
Yeah.
exact belief doesn't matter. It's that you know, and so you're going to go forward honoring that belief.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You put
Yeah.
that in. You always do that for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And let's hear the other one.
The other one was we talked about Mary Kay in previous interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all of this product just sitting in my basement, and I was waiting on inspiration. And then it was brought up that they were donating to a battered women's shelter, and that they always take care of the kids, but let's focus on the moms. And I was like, oh, cool. I can do something with that. I have all this Mary Kay stuff. So I went down the basement. It was totally inspired. I picked things out, I put them in the box, and then I gave the box to my mom. Well, then this box was delivered and came back to me, and they said that there was one item they took out because it was either too big or too expensive. I don't remember the exact thing. And for some reason, that really pissed me off. And it took me a few days to, I would set it down and it would come back up. And then I had the opportunity to say something. And my future self came through and said, what I donated was inspired and it should have been given to the shelter. And whatever stories you're telling should not be attached to my inspiration. What I give, I want to give it. And it was like, it was amazing.
Yes. That's awesome. How did you feel after saying that?
It was powerful, of course, and confident, but it was also just this, like, it was just matter of fact. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is it. And I said what I needed to say, and I didn't have to explain. There's no all these other things. It was just, I made a statement,
Mm-hmm.
and that was all that was needed. So I don't know what word would apply to that, but it was just this
I would say confidence. That might not be it, but
inner confidence. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
power.
It was amazing.
Yay. That's awesome. I love those stories. What's the best manifestation you've had over the past couple months?
Well, I wrote down launching Abundance with Kimberly and opening the doors to the pre-work and Manifesting K with me. And honestly, though, I manifested that a year ago. And so then I was like, okay. So I wrote down that I wrote a book in 3 days. And again, I mean, that was November. So I mean, I guess that was within the last 3 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are two of like the top things, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And yet every day I manifest what I want. It's
Mm-hmm.
just it's natural now. It's just I just do it. It's I was gonna have to bring as I was gonna bring to a call, Cassie, I manifest every day. And so it's like it's so natural now that sometimes I don't recognize
Mm-hmm.
that I'm manifesting and getting what I want.
Yay. That's
It just
awesome.
is.
You said, under like what coaching clicked, it's all about up leveling and things that maybe you didn't even know you needed to up level. So will you share a little bit about that and what that means?
Um I think I may have had like a thought that once you handle something, like you're done, you put it
Mm-hmm.
down. It's just finished. Um, and as I continue to go through the program, I recognize that there's more,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't always recognize that there could be more, like before.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm recognizing, ooh, I'd like to up level that, or I'd like to grow and be more of whatever it is that I want. And honestly, I think that I just had this idea that once you figure it out once, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
That's boring. And like, no judgments. I mean, that may be perfect for somebody else, but for me, I want to take it deeper. I want to know myself better. I think being who I am makes me show up the best version of myself in the world.
Absolutely.
And that just lets my light shine. When I did that assignment with the lighthouse, it's like my light just gets brighter.
Mm-hmm. I love it. How do you know it's happening?
Um, so I have a sense of calm and happiness every day. And to me, those feelings represent that all I want is on its way. I just know and trust now that it's happening because I've set the GPS a long time ago when I joined the
Mm-hmm.
program. And the universe loves to give me what I want.
Yes. I love it. As I said, next episode is going to be all about leveraging the law of attraction to write a book in 3 days. We will talk about perfectionism and letting go of that. Is there anything else that you want to say in this interview as we wrap up today?
Cheers to 2 years and celebrating going into year 3.
Yes. Cheers to 2 years. I love it. Thank you for sharing this chapter with us. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to come back and hear all about writing a book in the next interview. The telling of stories is so powerful, both to the person telling it and the person receiving it. Since 30,000 BC, we as humans have told stories to teach and guide. And now we, with Manifesting Success Stories, hope to inspire you to what is possible in your own life. If you want more manifesting success, go to moremanifestingsuccess.com, where you'll find links to anything we've talked about on the show. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, you have the power to write your own happy ever after.